Alright, Twitch.tv, welcome to this Hearthstone.fi Monday Night Community Tournament number 36, this time for real. Last week I thought it was already 36, but it was just 35. This week it's for real 36. We are starting with a semifinal match number 1, which will be RDU versus Tixuty. I'm sure everybody knows Nihilum's RDU on our spectators side. I'll just quickly tell you about Tixuty. He is a French player from the Madcore organization, so I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen on that part. While I tell the players to start, please, Ville, could you first introduce yourself and tell the classes that the players have brought?
Yes, good evening everyone. We have today, in RDU side, we have a Shaman, Mage and a Warrior, and Tixuty has an Hunter, Paladin and a Warrior deck.
Yes, and the situation is a bit different from the normal, since Tixuty as a player is at a disadvantage, has to start the series 1-0 in favor of RDU. Since he was missing screenshots, and the tournament actually requires all screenshots from all wins to be put up, so there was a small mistake on his part and he's had to pay the price for it, going 1-0 for RDU right now. And we see that this is probably a Patron Warrior from RDU against Tixuty's the Hunter Creeper. Could be mid-range, it could be aggro Hunter. We'll have to wait and see. Are you at the same situation as I am? They are still thinking about their mulligans?
Well, I can actually see nothing, so I'm waiting. I know it's the first turn, so let's
okay,
see if the cards pop up.
Excellent. The Freezing Trap, Quick Shot, Kill Command, these are all valiant, good cards, both for the aggressive Hunter, but the Freezing Trap might indicate that it's more of a mid-range variant. Now, since RDU got his win on his Shaman, this Patron Warrior plus his Mage are going to be the two decks we're going to see from him. So for now, all the stream viewers will have no details from his Shaman deck. And we do sort of prefer to show all of the classes, all of the matches, so both the players for the future final would be at the same situation, but of course right now it's impossible. I'm just informing one of the other semifinalist players about when the stream will start. Could you take over for sure?
Yeah, sure. So just a normal start. Well, that's quite a nice top deck, just getting that nice juggler out there. In this situation it's not the best, but you can still have that Haunted Creeper over there and see if you can get some value out of it. Sadly, you want to get rid of that guy in next few turns, because when there's a chance the Grim Patrons start running, you want to have all of your guys at least attack 3 or more. But quite normal start. Basically, Tixuty can just try to push some damage or maybe use some resources and kill that armor smith. I prefer just pushing damage in a little bit.
The really ultra-conservative play would be to kill a command away the armor smith before the armor becomes a problem, because as a Hunter player you want to be the more aggressive player. And it fits the curve nicely for the kill command as well, and the Hunter Creeper is actually a bit of risk to have on the board, like you said earlier on. You want to pop it with the Knife Juggler on the board as well, and against an Armor Smith you can't just pop it. Instead of the kill command's possible wasted 1 damage, Tixuty decides to go with the Quick Shots 3, and that is a pretty good call, given that the fact that the Quick Shot would not have been able to be popped very early. Oh wow, now it's Hunter's Mark. The Hunter's Mark could make sure that the Acolyte of Pain only draws 1 card, and he can trade the Hunter Creeper into the Acolyte of Pain safely at that stage as well. If he wants to go for the more slow play, then the Freezing Trap Hero Power is an option, or just the Knife Juggler Freezing Trap. Those both work. The Freezing Trap, yep, it does provide a 5 mana Acolyte of Pain. These Patron Warriors don't usually run any charges except for the combo commander cards, so the Freezing Trap is fairly safe to be put out. This also builds for a more aggressive upcoming turn. Instead of this turn utilizing the Knife Juggles and the Clears, you're waiting for your opposing player to lose their tempo, lose their presence on the board completely. And there we go, being popped from the Freezing Trap and slamming down that Knife Juggler. It is too big of a threat to leave up. I completely understand why it's being done, especially seeing this hand from RDU right now. The other alternative would have been to just coin out the Acolyte of Pain, and that would have absolutely accomplished nothing. So, there you have it.
Yeah, I think that's just slamming down those Knife Jugglers totally fine, because you don't have too much targets in this. Now comes the really nice play. You can coin out that Tower Star. You have almost all of... Oh, actually, you have all of your combo parts.
All the combo parts, including a Whirlwind Activator. Maybe one of those Battle Rages could be an Inner Rage instead, but still a very, very strong turn number 6. If you want, you can go for the Commander Patron combo with a Whirlwind as well. I don't think we're going to see that on turn 6. More likely the Acolyte of Pain is going to come down. But we'll have to wait for the end results to come up. Instead of utilizing his existing minions, he wants to make sure that he's still got a presence on the board, Tixuty that is, to try and whittle down the Warriors' hit points as soon as possible. Unfortunately for him though, the Green Patrons are going to start pouring themselves in, and we are going to see a full board of Patrons once the activators are done. We might even see a completely emptied out board from Tixuty's side, since he can sacrifice one of the spawned Patrons to pop up the Paladin Shredder. The worst possible option would be to get a Doomsayer, because there is no chance, really, except maybe utilizing the Whirlwind to pop 3 more Patrons.
Well, that's interesting. There's lore walk and show. Well, actually, I don't know which player actually benefits more out of that. I think it's Warrior.
Probably the Warrior, yeah, but you don't want to leave it up, because it hinders your battle rages, it hinders so many things. Now, if this is a Freezing Trap like he expects it to be, it's okay, but since it's an Explosive Trap, the situation is much, much worse. He almost completely cleared the board of his own Patrons, and this Whirlwind is just going to go down and ruin the day for RDU. So despite a perfect, like literally perfect Patron board, and a very, very nice start, that Explosive Trap ruined his setup. And now, the Hunter is suddenly miles ahead. That's the reason why the Explosive Trap has made a small comeback, because nobody's really expecting it. When you see a Freezing Trap in a Hunter, you say, yeah, it's got a double Freezing Trap, that's it. Oh, really bad luck for that Freezing Trap right there. Okay, quick shot away, the 1-3, cycle it away, you can kill off the second Patron. No more Patrons for RDU, and suddenly, this matchup, which is usually a little lopsided in favor of the Patron, suddenly became completely winnable for the Hunter.
Yeah, I think he had right tools, and actually I think playing Patron over there was a little bit reckless. You could just drop your Acolyte and get more cards. You have 2 battle rages, so if you can keep one guy up, you can just draw quite a lot of cards. So I think there was a slight mistake maybe, or maybe a little bit too big gamble for my taste.
Yeah, these are of course personal preferences. Now, this Unleash the Hounds with the Knife Juggler is a risk due to that Acolyte of Pain. But you do want to get rid of the Acolyte of Pain. So you could first sacrifice your Mad Scientist. This depends heavily on the fact that if you have a second Explosive Trap or not. Usually you only run 1 if you run an Explosive Trap. So I understand why he decides to not go for the Unleash the Hounds play. If this 2-4 no mission matter attacks first, it's going to get frozen out and there's no way to deal with the Knife Juggler. But if the 1-3 attack first, then, the RDU situation would have been maybe slightly better. I understand that he wants to draw cards, but I think that that Knife Juggler would have actually been a more larger priority to get rid of. And nope, there is no third trap in there. So the Scientist completely fizzles. RDU is cycling his 1-mana Battle Rages, which is a good call. Even though he doesn't have any activators for the Inner Rage, or any targets for the Inner Rage really, this Frothing Berserker is a serious contender for board presence right now. Okay, so Lothar Unleash a Hero Power is 5 to the face this turn, denying any spells. The downside here is that the single Whirlwind effect will clear almost all of Tixuty's board and will buff the Frothing Berserker to an absurd amount. So...
yeah, I think you can even go for just attacking with a Death Spite to Lothar and then breaking it with your Fairy War Axe. Yeah, and then you should be fine. You can then just use your hero power if you want to be really greedy and get huge Berserker.
Yeah, Death Spite into Fire War Axe, I do like it. But we're gonna see the Execute first because he doesn't want to take the face damage. I understand, you're facing a Hunter, you don't want to take any risks.
Yeah, he would be on basically 7 hit points, and then you can lose for top deck. So yeah, it's good call.
Houndmaster means that there's 4 damage coming to the face plus 2 from hero power.
No, it's gonna be.
I think he's gonna trade out the Frothing. Yeah. It would have been kind of interesting to see him go for the face, but that would have meant that he would have died instantly. So I have to agree with that fight. Could he draw into something that would be lethal after that shield block? Even if he gets into Quick Shot, second card. Kill Command, that's still not enough, I don't think so.
No. He has only one. If he would have 2 Quick Shots left, maybe then. But...
even then it would be 6 in return, 10. There is double Inner Rage plus War Axe in the hand of RDU, so that's 2, 5, 8, 10, 12. That's lethal right now.
Yeah.
And despite that horrible accident with those first patrons and the second patron also being eliminated fairly easily, we're gonna see RDU take game number 1, which will in fact change the situation to be 2-0 in his favor. For the Romanian Team Nihilum player, only has the mage deck left anymore.
It's interesting to see what kind of mage he's playing. I doubt it's gonna be like freeze mage, and I hope it's not, because sometimes the games just drags way too long, and I think it's actually disadvantage in this current quite mid-range meta. So I think it's gonna be something like shotgun or that good old mage.
Let the hunt begin.
Yep. There's been a misunderstanding in our viewers. The 1-0 situation in this game that we begun with is not due to screenshot manipulation. It is simply because Tixuty forgot to take 2 screenshots. The previous drama that we had with the manipulated screenshots is a completely different person. So Tixuty has done nothing wrong. He merely forgot, which is very human. And we usually allow 1 missed screenshot. So the second missed screenshot was just too much. So that's the reason why he's going 1-0 right now. Or 0-1 to be more precise. There has been no foul play regarding Tixuty's screenshots. It was just a human error.
Yeah. But interesting, actually RDU is playing a mech mage. What is, I think, good call over here.
Yes, it's probably better than Temple Mage in the current meta. I have to agree. Actually, it could still be a Temple Mage, given that there is just a Clockwork Gnome that we're seeing right now.
Well, yeah, actually true.
When you're facing a mid-range hunter like this, if it's a Tempo Mage, yeah, it's definitely a Tempo Mage. It's pretty much 50-50 in my opinion. If it would have been Mech Mage, then the situation would have been a bit better. But it's definitely still winnable. And you were seeing a one-mana Master of Disguise. If you manage to get Antonidas and then Master of Disguise him, the game is pretty much over.
Yeah,
at that stage.
It's dirty, but I think it's gonna be used for just get that early pressure over there. 4/4 body over there plus stealth at 2/1 means that it's quite hard to actually remove with any kind of spell that 4/4 body.
Yeah, if does. Ah, wow, there's a lucky 1 in 3 shot for the Knife Juggler to go for it. Yeah, the Sniper Juggler. I'm just throwing my knives, man. Does what he's required to, and suddenly the 4/4 is contested by the existing board from the Hunter. Had that 2/1 not been hit, the situation would have been 100% different, because of the fact that it could have been effectively trading into the Knife Juggler. So that was a pretty big risk Tixuty took, but it is a 1 in 3 chance. So I completely understand why he took it. The Arcane Missiles right now is pretty... let's say I would want to play it. Because of the fact that it could completely destroy the opponent's board. Even if it missed some of those targets, you still had the Fire Blast Hero power available to you. And now that the Arcane Missiles did their job 100%, the Mirror Entity became an auto play right now. And on turn 5, either a Fireball or Water Elemental, depending on what you're going to see. Not a bad situation, definitely not a bad situation.
That was really nice top deck, just getting Web Spinner, because you don't want to play that 4/2 over there to get basically your opponent 9 damage on the board, and you then have to trade your own board. So getting the Web Spinner, awesome. But
just
actually,
a Stone Tusk 4.
well, actually, it's not only just you, because I think that's not too bad. Sometimes you need that 1 extra damage to actually just push your trade like favorable to you in some situations. So it's not bad, but on the other hand, there is a Windhawk, and if he actually gets some other, what is called the Houndmaster, yeah, it's really nice card.
And that spare part really doing its work right now, because of the fact that the Master of Disguise would have been easily traded away by the Jungle Panther. It's now a situation of, do you want to sacrifice your Panther to make the Water Elemental easier to kill, or do you just want to hold him in the stealth so that Master of Disguise will be a better target next turn? Effectively denying the use of the Panther completely this turn. And on turn 5 for Tixuty, the Freezing Trap is quite interesting. One would want to play it because both of those targets are good targets for the Freezing Trap, but on the other hand, the Lothep could fill the crew perfectly. It's a 5/5 body, it denies the mage from using spells. Yep, he goes for the quick shot removal on that Water Elemental. It's a smart move because all the weapons that you were holding on to, that you're gonna get from the deck, would have been completely useless if you had been solidly frozen all this time. And now the Stone Tusk Boar is an MVP. You get the Freezing Trap out of the way, the charging minion actually doing exactly what you wanted to do, soaking up one of those cards, or one of those key cards, and then your hero power just finishing off that single lone beast from the board.
Yeah, I think 1/1 boards with charge, they are the best cards to get out of those, because sometimes you get something really clunky that just doesn't ever hit your mana curve. If you get 1/1 guy with one mana and a charge, is so useful in so many different scenarios.
Tixuty forced to use the kill command just to handle the board, and now that almost all of the threats that he's been able to put out have been dealt with, it's not looking good for the Hunter player. Of course, he is holding on to Dr. Boom right now, which is pretty much an auto cast unless he gets... Maybe a Savannah High Main could be another altar. Oh wow. Okay. So even with the Savannah High Main, you would have to consider, is this more efficient than a Dr. Boom on the board? And it probably never is. So you're waiting for the Savannah High Main to be played on turn 8. Unfortunately, that will not be happening for Tixuty, and RDU takes the series 3-0 with his Temple Mage, Phaeton Warrior, and Shaman default win. That was one of the fastest semifinals we've had in the history of the Hearthstone.fi Monday Night Community Tournaments. We thank you for watching thus far. Don't go anywhere, guys. You will see RDU again in the finals. But before we get to the final, we have to go through the second semifinal as well. We will make sure that both the players for that match are ready. While we wait, go grab yourself something to eat. We will be right back.